The NFL draft is tomorrow. How crazy is that to say? We are now just about 20-ish hours away from the NFL draft, and I cannot be more excited about that. I will say, just in advance, I'm hoping to give you as much draft content over the next few days as possible. Leading up to the draft tomorrow, I plan to give you this mock draft, as well as my final big board, as well as a 3-round mock draft, and hopefully a couple of scenarios as well. So you will be getting a ton of uploads the last few days. In addition to that, I'm going to try and do some YouTube shorts going over individual team 7-round mock drafts, so make sure to check that out. And make sure to like and subscribe and turn that notification bell on to stay tuned for all these uploads. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and let's get right into it. Hello and welcome into the backfield. I'm your host Connor Schaff, and today we have my final 1-round mock draft with trades. Now, I will say I'm not going to be doing a ton of trades during this video, but there are a couple situations where I'm hearing some rumblings I think something could happen. There are a couple teams that we've heard quite a few rumors that might make a trade within the draft. One of those teams being the Chicago Bears, another being the Cowboys, another being the Denver Broncos, another being the Minnesota Vikings, and another being the Kansas City Chiefs. In addition, we've heard some light rumors about the Browns or the Giants trading down. I don't see that happening. I think that would have happened already if that were to happen. And I do think there's a chance that one of these teams still moves back into the first round to take a quarterback. With that being said, let's get right into it with the most obvious first-round pick, Cam Ward. I don't think there's really any debate at this point. You can say what you want about his talent at this point, but this is just what's going to happen, so I would go ahead and get used to it now, seeing Cam Ward being the first one to walk the stage on draft day, and I think that there's just no way that this event doesn't occur at this point. I think that Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this class. I don't think he's anywhere near the best player in this class, but quarterbacks go high in the draft. The Titans need a quarterback. There's no guarantee that they pick in this position in the coming years, so this is just an easy pick for them. And moving on to number 2, this is something that seemed to come out in the last couple days, that it seems like the Browns are all set on Travis Hunter. And interestingly enough, they're all set on Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. Now, I gotta be honest, I personally disagree with that decision. I believe Travis Hunter is a better cornerback than he is wide receiver. I view him as an elite NFL cornerback and an okay wide receiver. Now, what says that they don't make the switch during the season? Nothing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts playing more quarterback and less receiver throughout the season. But it does seem like that's what's going to happen in all likelihood, in addition to this number 3 pick, which will likely be Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter will give the Giants quite a lot off the edge with a lot of guys that just haven't really proven themselves. Guys like Kayvon Thibodeau and BJ Ojulari, or Azeez Ojulari, just haven't really shown a ton of consistency throughout an entire NFL season. Hopefully Abdul Carter will give you that high-end potential to really bring up this defense to another level. Now that we're past those 3 picks, it seems like those are the 3 picks that are almost guaranteed to happen. Now we get into the actual draft itself. And I think at number 4, it's seeming more likely to me that the Patriots are going to go with Will Campbell here. It's starting to seem that this is the guy they want. Will Campbell has tackle to guard flexibility. There is some slight concerns about him playing tackle, but if the Patriots believe that he is worthy of the number 4 pick, then I think they do believe he can play tackle and are at least going to give him a season at that position. If it doesn't work out, you slide him into guard and call it a day. So he does have that very nice flexibility that I think will push him to the top of the draft. And then we have number 5, and people aren't going to love this, but what it's starting to seem like is going to happen is Ashton Junkie is the Jaguars pick here at 5. Now, I've been mocking Mason Graham the entire offseason. I don't know if I've had more than 1 or 2 drafts that haven't had the Jaguars taking Mason Graham, but it's starting to seem like Ashton Junkie is a top 5 pick, and if the Jaguars aren't going to take him, someone's going to trade up for him. But I look at it as, why would the Jaguars trade down when they can use Ashton Jeanty themselves? So I believe that Ashton Jeanty makes sense. He is the top 3 player in this class. No doubt in my mind, he is going to be a day 1 starter as a bulwark running back. And I think that that is going to be something that they very much enjoy and are going to use to their advantage. Now we have number 6 with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now there are a couple different avenues that the Las Vegas Raiders can go down here. I think that Mason Graham is very much an option now. Now that the Ashton Jeanty is off the board, I think that's someone who you would have wanted. I also think Tedoria McMillan is very much an option here. I think Armand Mimbu is very much an option here. Jahdae Barron's an option here. Will Johnson maybe is an option here. I think that's kind of where the list ends. Maybe Jalen Walker is an option as well. But I think that they are going to take advantage of the fact that I believe Armand Mimbu is the best tackle in this class. I believe that he is someone that can guarantee to stick out to tackle for you. And I think that for a team that needs some help on the offensive line, I know it's not in the PFF rankings, but realistically, the Raiders need help absolutely everywhere. And I think with a talent like Armand Mimbu, I think that's what they're going to go with here. And that moves us to number 7 with the New York Jets, who I think are going to be torn between 2 options here. And that's Tedoria McMillan and Tyler Warren. And I just think that they have more of a need for receiver, especially given the concern with Garrett Wilson at the moment. Will he get traded? Will he stay with the team for 1 more year and get traded? Getting a top-tier receiving potential option in Tedoria McMillan, I think just fits the need so well. Give Justin Fields a guaranteed option from day 1. I think that's what they're going to go with, and I think they're going to be very happy with this pick. Now moving on to number 8. This is a pick that I've been mocking for so long now too, and that's Jalen Walker to the Carolina Panthers. I think Jalen Walker is an unbelievable player, maybe even a top 5 player in this class. I think it's ridiculous that PFF has him as low as 25. And I think that Jalen Walker will slot right into the Panthers defense, be that Brian Burns replacement off the edge. I don't think he's really going to play as a linebacker role like how Micah Parsons did in his first couple of years in the NFL, where he rushed off the edge and dropped back. I think he's going to be almost a pure edge rusher. Maybe not an every down guy, but I think he's going to be unbelievable when he's in the game. And that's a pick for me, and I think that that is one of the more guaranteed picks in this draft, because it seems like everyone believes that that's going to be the pick to the Carolina Panthers. We now move on to number 9 with the New Orleans Saints, and I think that New Orleans Saints are in a bit of an interesting position here. Definitely a team I could see trading down out of this position. Could they go quarterback? That's definitely possible, but I don't think that they're going to do that. Instead, I think that they're going to go with Mason Graham. Take advantage of the fact that he's fallen down the board just a little bit and get a guy that can run, that can go on the inside. Brandon Staley moving into that defense, he runs a 3-4 defense, meaning that you really need 3 good interior defenders to be able to fill those positions, and arguably the New Orleans Saints have 0. I think someone like Brian Bresee still has some potential, but he's not going to stop you from taking a defensive lineman in this class. I think Mason Graham will do the job for you. Next up, we have number 10 with the Chicago Bears, and I am going to have you take Mykel Williams. Mykel Williams is a bit more of a natural edge rusher than Jalen Walker is, them both being from the same college, but I think Mykel Williams gives you a very interesting skill set. He can be an every down edge rusher that is just an unbelievable, consistent player. I'm very excited to see what Mykel Williams can do at the NFL level, and I think he very much would fit into a Chicago Bears defense that just needs that one extra little punch. Moving on to number 11, I think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to be happy with generally how the board would fall. I think they kind of want one of the top 2 offensive tackles to fall to them, but I think they're okay taking Kelvin Banks here as the 3rd tackle off the board. Yes, tackle to guard flexibility might be the best actual tackle, full-blown tackle prospect in this class. I think that's Armand Mimbu, but there's definitely a debate to be had there. But I think Kelvin Banks will slot right in as a starter for this 49ers team. and I think that he has a ton of potential from this position. We now have another team that it seems like it's getting very clear who they would like to pick. But I've just remembered in my head that I wanted to do trades in this mock draft, and this is where the first trade is going to happen. We are going to have the Cowboys trading down out of this pick, and we are going to have the Denver Broncos trading up. Now, how are we going to have this happen? We are going to have it be a pick swap from 20 to 12, and we are going to have Courtland Sutton get traded to the Dallas Cowboys. It definitely seems in the rumblings that the Dallas Cowboys might look to trade for Courtland Sutton, and I think this would be the perfect opportunity for that to happen. I think that it makes sense for the Denver Broncos to trade up for a very particular player that you'll see in just a minute, and it seems like Courtland Sutton might want to be out the door, so I think this fits right in. I do think that likely they'll have to include a third-round pick on this side, and I know it's not on screen, but I'm going to include pick 149 from the Cowboys in return. That's not a perfect trade package, but I think that that's generally around what it would be. And the Cowboys get a clear number 2 receiver to go alongside CeeDee Lamb. And if CeeDee Lamb gets injured, this is a guy that can immediately step into being your number 1 receiver. And that is the first trade we're going to get done. And with this trade, we are going to have the Denver Broncos take Tyler Warren. They need a tight end, and that just fills the need perfectly. They jump the Dolphins and the Colts, who both might be looking for a tight end as well. And I think that it's just such a great fit for the Denver Broncos to get their guy. Tyler Warren is someone that can line up on the end line. He can also line up more out wide, and he just fits the role of a high-quality tight end. Very much reminds me of George Kittle in a lot of ways, not just his hair, even though that does help quite a bit. And I think that he is just a great fit for this Denver Broncos team. We now have the Miami Dolphins, so I think we're going to be very disappointed by this, as I think Tyler Warren is someone who they would heavily consider. But with Tyler Warren off the board, I think they are now going to bring in a guy who I think they're going to look to be their Jalen Ramsey replacement, and that is Will Johnson. Now, I think a lot of people are starting to have Jahdae Barron as the first cornerback off the board, and I think that's okay, but I don't think that really fits the Miami Dolphins' need. Jahdae Barron is definitely a guy that's going to line more inside in the slot. He's going to be almost a nickelback in a lot of ways, but he is going to be great at that role. That's not really what the Dolphins need. The Dolphins need a boundary corner, and I think that Will Johnson fills that need very well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jalen Ramsey get traded in the next 2 days. They did come out and say that Jalen Ramsey will be getting traded, and I think that Will Johnson really fits that role well. Obviously, I'm not trying to compare him to Jalen Ramsey, but it's really just a role being filled. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who I think also are going to be quite disappointed to not see, what's his name, Tyler Warren. My brain is not functioning today. My gosh. I got like 5 more videos to record. Please pray for me. Please, please, please. But stay tuned for the videos. But yeah, we're going to have the Colts take the next best tight end option, who some teams might even prefer, in Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland is definitely more of like a actual receiver. He kind of is almost more of Brock Bowers than he is Tyler or George Kittle. If you think of these wide receiver comparisons or these tight end comparisons for the two, I think that Colston Loveland is a guy that you could almost line up in the slot on some plays and do a job. And I think the Colts just need that extra punch to their receiving room. And that gives them such a great rotation of guys. So now Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell, and then in the tight end room, you get Colston Loveland to lead that line alongside the guys they already have. We now have the Atlanta Falcons at 15. And it seems pretty clear that the Atlanta Falcons want to go with someone on the defensive line. And with Shamar Stewart on the board, it feels like almost a common sense pick to me. And I think that it just makes so much sense to get in a guy that just adds something to that defensive line when they just desperately need just that little extra push, especially with Grady Jarrett leaving in the offseason. We now move on to another team that it seems fairly likely that they're going to go with someone on the defensive line. And when Kenneth Grant and Walter Nolan are available, you got to feel pretty good. Now, I'm definitely quite conflicted on who I would go here. I think that I would go Kenneth Grant personally, but it seems like Walter Nolan might be the guy that's viewed more favorably. And I think because of that, I want to get as many picks right as possible, even though I'll tell you right now, my opinion is that at the NFL level, Kenneth Grant will be a better player. Definitely clip me if I end up being wrong and call me an idiot, but we are going to just go with Walter Nolan here. Go with the pick that I think is most likely, as the Arizona Cardinals get a new defensive lineman in the room. Now we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm very torn here because there is a guy that I love in this class, and if you've seen me on Twitter, watched my other videos, I consistently have this guy in the top 20 picks, and that's Donovan Jackson. Now, the issue is Donovan Jackson basically plays the same role that Gray Zabel plays, and it seems like Gray Zabel is the hot hand in this draft. They're both players that are guards. I don't know why they're listed at tackle. They're guards who have played tackle in college. Donovan Jackson's even funnier to me because Donovan Jackson played guard for most of his college career and only played tackle because Josh Simmons got injured. But I digress. With that being said, I'm going to go with the pick that I think is going to happen once again. I'm going to go with Gray Zabel. I think that he definitely seems like the hot hand in this draft, is maybe the best guard prospect. I think that Donovan Jackson has a little more tackle flexibility than Gray Zabel does. Gray Zabel has actually miniature hands. Now, he still might have bigger hands than mine. I do have pretty big hands. Here are my hands. Head comparison, I have pretty decently sized hands, but probably smaller than Gray Zabel at my weight of not even, probably half of what Gray Zabel is. Let's see. I know this is, it's about half of Gray Zabel's weight. I know this is what you all tuned in for, is to learn about my weight and not these other guys. But we now move on to number 18 with the Seattle Seahawks. I think there's really two, maybe three guys they're considering here. Jahdae Barron is number one. I just don't know if they need corner a ton, but it would be an interesting fit. But then I think it's left with the two safeties that are likely going to go in the first round. That's Malachi Starks and Nicky Memori. I love the fit of Nicky Memori so much, but it doesn't seem like NFL teams are as high on Nicky Memori as I am. So we're going to go with Malachi Starks instead, who might be a top 10 player in this class. And when the Seahawks can get him at 18, just slot him right in as that free safety starter. You get your guy, you're not going to complain, and that's that. We now move on to number 19 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think this might be the easiest lock pick after the top three in the draft. That's Jahad Campbell. If he's here at 19, there's no way they don't take him. I just see no situation where that happens. I think that it just is such a good fit. With Levante David aging, Devin White has left now. He's not the player he used to be. It's just like plug and play starter at pick 19. You just got to take it. And now at number 20, I think the Cowboys are going to be ecstatic with how the board has fallen for them. Because the guy I was going to have them take at 12 is Matthew Golden. And if they don't want Matthew Golden, they can take Omarion Hampton. And I do think that they're going to take, because obviously I just had them trade for Cortland Sutton, I'm going to have Omarion Hampton be the pick here. As you totally see the Cowboys revitalize their offense in the draft, they now have Omarion Hampton and Cortland Sutton to add on to their core of Dak and CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. This is a very exciting offense that they would be building. And it just seems like so sensible to try and pull something off like this in the draft. We're now moving on to number 21, and I think this is where Shedeur Sanders ends up falling. I think that it just seems like the right thing at this point. I don't see a lot of situations between pick 3 and pick 21 where Shedeur Sanders could go. I think the Giants, there's a 10% chance they still take him. If not, I don't really see the Saints taking him. I think that there's a chance a team trades up for him. That's really the other possibility here, but I don't know if any team loves Shedeur Sanders enough to take him with this pick, or with a pick ahead of this. With that being said, I think Shedeur Sanders fits perfectly into this Steelers offense, and I think that he could potentially be a day one starter for them if they don't pick up Aaron Rodgers. And I think that despite popular belief, I actually think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback mentor than people think. Look at how he was able to develop Jordan Love behind him throughout his time at Green Bay, and how Jordan Love has turned into a very good quarterback. I think it could be a similar situation with Shedeur Sanders, where Aaron Rodgers knows he's not the long-term option. He's going to probably sign a 2-year deal, be the starter for a first year, maybe be the backup for that second year. Which, if he goes to any other team, he's pretty much going to just be the backup this year. So I think you're happy with that. And I think that he helps mentor Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders starts in that second year and hopefully blossoms into a very good player. With all that justification aside, I still think it's just a common sense pick here. And we move on to number 22, where I think that this is going to end the fall of, if it is even a fall, Matthew Golden. The Chargers just desperately need a wide receiver, and I think Matthew Golden can plug in right ahead and be that guy for you. You have a lot of decent receivers in this receiving room. You have Quentin Johnston. You have, who else do they have? I know they have quite a few guys that are just okay. They have Darius Davis, I want to say. Okay, maybe their wide receiver room is absolute garbage. Matthew Golden will be that good option to help build that wide receiver room out and help give Justin Herbert a very safe option. I want to say they picked back up Mike Williams as well, but you can correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. I thought it was so funny. Now moving on to the Packers, I saw a mock draft from Chris Collinsworth right before recording this video. And Chris Collinsworth had the Packers taking receiver with this pick. Have we learned our lesson? There is no situation where the Green Bay Packers will take a receiver with this pick. They're going to take edge rusher or defensive interior defender or linebacker or cornerback. It's the only positions they draft in the first round. There are definitely some good options. There's Mike Green, who does have some pretty severe off-the-field issues, but if you aren't insanely concerned about that, which it seems like it's person-dependent at this point, though we don't really know what the extent of this is, you could take Jahdae Barron, who has fallen quite a bit in the draft, but I think that's a perfect fit for you here. You could take Kenneth Grant. You could take James Pierce Jr. You could take Donovan Ezeraku. There are a plethora of options. Even Shavon Revel. With that being said, I think that they are going to end up going with maybe a surprising pick here. I'm going to have them take Donovan Ezeraku. I think that they don't necessarily need someone who's going to be an every down player. And I do think there's a bit of a concern with James Pierce Jr. Character concern-wise. I've been hearing he might even fall out of the first round. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's too good to fall out of the first round. But I definitely think it's possible that some teams up here pass on him. With that being said, Donovan Ezeraku gives you an option as a pass rush specialist that can just be elite at pass rushing. They have other guys on the edge in this team. They don't need a guy that plays every down. Donovan Ezeraku gives you that option to be more flexible on the defensive line, lets you have some rotation, give guys some rest, have some injury protection as well, and I think this is such a Packers pick here. I think the Packers would be very happy to take it. We now move on to 24, where we are going to have the other trade I'm going to make here, and that is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs trading up with the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to have the Chiefs throw in pick 66 as well. Don't even know if they have to give up that much to get the deal done. And it is going to be the Chiefs trading up to 24. And what are the Chiefs going to do? They are going to take Josh Simmons. Or they're going to take Donovan Jackson. I changed my mind at the last second there. With Donovan Jackson still on the board, they need a guy that has guard flexibility. With the loss of Joe Thuney, with the potential loss next season of Creed Humphrey, you want a guy that can play across the line for you, and that is what Donovan Jackson can give you. I don't think Donovan Jackson is someone you want to play at tackle. But I think that Donovan Jackson is someone that can plug in immediately at guard and play tackle if need be, and that is just what the Chiefs need. And they just need to make sure that they can secure a tackle in this draft, and I think that this is going to be a pick that they're very happy with. Next up, we have a pretty fun pick here. We're going to have I'm actually torn at the last moment here. I was going to go with a Mekhi, and then I was like, but Tyler Booker's on, and that's kind of an interesting fit. And at the last second, I'm going to change it up on you for the second pick in a row and take Tyler Booker. Let's be honest, the Texans have the worst offensive line in the NFL. And then they think of the bright idea that we're going to trade away Laramie Tunsil. So what do the Texans need more than anything is tackle and guard play. And Tyler Booker might be the best guard in this class. He is a guard that actually played guard in college, like Donovan Jackson. Grace Abel did not play guard in college, so even though he is going to play guard in the NFL, he did not play guard in college. Donovan Jackson is a guard, and he actually played guard in college, and Tyler Booker is a guard that played guard throughout the entirety of his college career. And he gives you a versatile option that really builds out that run game through Joe Mixon. I wouldn't be surprised if they take another running back later in the draft as well to really make them have a great 1-2 punch on the offensive line or in the run game to help C.J. Stroud out, who just really struggled with pass protection last year. We now move on to 26, and I think there's no situation that Jahdae Barron gets past this pick. He's already fallen quite a bit for me, not because I don't think Jahdae Barron's a good player. I don't have him as high as some other people do. I don't view him ahead of Will Johnson. I think Will Johnson's the number one corner, Jahdae Barron's the number 2. But I just don't see a great fit in these middle range. I think he could go at number 6. I will tell you right now, if he goes at 6, it would not surprise me. But if he doesn't go at 6, I honestly struggle to see where he could go. I think he could go to the 49ers. I think he could go to the Colts. The Colts really don't need a Jahdae Barron, actually. But just maybe the Buccaneers could take him as well. But I think that this is really the next best fit for him, is the LA Rams, who just need some help in that secondary. I think Jahdae Barron becomes an immediate plug-and-play starter for you. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to take Nicky Memori here. Nicky Memori is one of my favorite players in this draft class. I think he's such a fun player to watch. I think he has so much athleticism to him that I just think it makes so much sense for a team that needs some secondary help. You would hope from this move that you can have Kyle Hamilton play a little bit closer to the quarterback, which seems to be where he excels most, and have Nicky Memori play towards the back, be that guy that can get to the ball in deep situations. And I just think that he would be such a fun player in this Baltimore Ravens defense. We now have the Detroit Lions, who I think are going to take James Pierce Jr. I think that I just don't see how James Pierce Jr. falls out of the first round. He's someone who's such a good player, especially in the passing game. I think that most likely he's another guy like Donovan Ezeraku, who you are not going to play every down, but you don't need him to play every down. The Lions have a plethora of okay edge rushers, but you want someone that can take that next step. I think James Pierce Jr. has the potential to be a guy that can take that next step, which is why I think that the Lions would be happy to take the chance on James Pierce Jr. when they also don't have a ton of major holes within the team. We now move on to pick 29 with the Washington Commanders. I think they have a couple options here, but I think given the fact that there are some very good wide receivers still on the board, include with Luther Burden and Emeka Egbuka, I think you just go in and get your guy. I think Luther Burden fits the offense a bit better than Emeka Egbuka does, just because I think Emeka Egbuka would likely play more of the role Deebo Samuel's going to play. I know you shouldn't base this on what Deebo Samuel's going to do because he's not going to be there in the long term, but this is a team that's going to be trying to win now, and I think Luther Burden gives you that final piece to win now. And then at number 30, we're going to take the other receiver left on the board, and that is Emeka Egbuka. And I think that the Bills just need a extra punch on the offensive side. They don't have a number one receiver. Dalton Kincaid himself as a tight end kind of disappointed last year. I think he got misused a little bit. So I think that there's a chance that he could have a better year next year. But I think that this gives you a great option of someone who could potentially be your number one receiver in the future, alongside guys like Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, who are both very fun players too. I just think it's a pick that makes so much sense. I think they're going to be very happy with that pick. And I think the Vikings here at 31 are ecstatic with the fact that they've traded down and managed to get Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant, in my opinion, is the second best interior defender in this class after Mason Graham. And I think given that the Vikings need some help in the trenches, Kenneth Grant just gives you that plug-and-play potential. He is a very, very good player, a very fun player to watch, and someone that does the dirty duty, especially in the game. And then we move on to the final pick of our first round. I think there are a couple players that the Eagles could go with here. First one, I think, is Mike Green, who, despite character concerns, Philadelphia Eagles, they're pros at taking guys with character concerns. So I still think Mike Green has a high potential to go with this pick. I think that they could go with someone like Omar Norman Lott, who is very much a pass specialist interior defender, but I think that it would fit very well into the Eagles' room, who already has guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They need a guy that just can rush the passer in passing down situations. And honestly, because of that, I think I've kind of talked myself into the pick. So we're going to have Omar Norman Lott sneaking into the first round, something that I'm sure you don't see a lot, but I think it would be a fun pick for this team. And that does it for today. Make sure to let me know down below your mock draft predictions for what you think is going to happen tomorrow in the draft. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and stay tuned for the rest of the videos I'm going to do prior to the draft, and then following the draft, as I plan to post a whole bunch of videos recapping the draft. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.